What's going on, guys? It's John DeYong here, and today I want to talk to you about your why. I believe this is solely the most important question to ask yourself at any stage of your investing journey. The simple answer, of course, is wealth creation or financial independence. But what would you do with yourself when you get to that point? It's hard to foresee, especially when you're starting out and have just come to the realization that you could potentially retire early, or not have to worry about finance in your later years. But trust me, there comes a point in everyone's life where they realize what's really important. No one on their deathbed ever said that they wish they had worked harder during their life. In this era of instant gratification with Afterpay, Instagram posts, and a generational wealth divide, it's so easy for us to benchmark our financial position against an unrealistic reality, causing us to sprint the wheel of the rat race, working harder and harder to pay for consumable goods that are exactly that. They're consumables, and once they've been consumed, they're near worthless. If you listen to a lot of successful people, the biggest commonality they now say is that money is not the answer. It doesn't fulfill you, and no matter how much you earn, you can always find a way to spend it. If you think about Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, and Bill Gates, they could have all retired ages ago, been sitting on a beach in Hawaii for the rest of their lives. But that's not fulfilling to them. They have found their why, and through that, a purpose for their life. Understanding your why is frequently talked about in the property space, and should always be the first thing any advisor asks you, whether it be a buyer's agent, an accountant, or a mortgage broker. They should always ask you what your goals are and why they are your goals. And if they don't, in my opinion, I would find a new one. So let's delve into why this question is so important. I'm only 27 and I can literally see my whole life passing by me, faster and faster every single year. But I've been fortunate enough to work very hard in my earlier years, purchased a couple of investment properties, and I'm well on the path of being retirement ready. However, I don't want to get to the age of 55, which I'm already halfway there, going down this same path and realize that my prime years are now behind me. All I have is the ability right now to sit back, analyze, and see what I want for the rest of my life moving forward. And regardless of where you sit in your current financial position, I plead that you do the same. Stop living for that job promotion, pulling 80-hour weeks just for an extra 20 grand a year, which is really only 5 grand after tax, super, and lifestyle creep. So what would you do if you got paid exactly what you get paid now for free? You might say, oh, I'd go on a holiday or play video games all day. But trust me, I have done that. And there's only so many games you can finish, so many destinations you can travel to. You can always find a way to spend more and more money. So what would you really do? What would you really spend the rest of your life doing every single day? I probably haven't conveyed my point as clearly as I would like, but I want to share with you my absolute favorite story that might help put things into perspective. It's called the parable of the Mexican fisherman and the banker, and it goes something like this. An American investment banker was taking a much needed vacation in a small coastal Mexican village when a small boat with just one fisherman docked. The boat had several large fresh fish in it. The investment banker was impressed by the quality of the fish and asked the Mexican how long it took him to catch them. The Mexican then replied, only a little while, and the banker then asked him why he didn't stay out longer and catch more fish. The Mexican fisherman then replied that he had enough to support his family for the immediate needs. The American then asked, but what do you do with the rest of your time? The Mexican fisherman then replied, I sleep in late, I fish a little, I play with my children, I take a siesta with my wife, and then stroll into the village each evening where I sip wine and play guitar with my amigos. I have a full and busy life, senor. The investment banker then scoffed. I am an Ivy League MBA and I could help you. You could spend more time fishing and then with the proceeds buy a bigger boat. And then with the proceeds from the bigger boat, you could buy several boats until eventually you would have a whole fleet of fishing ships. Instead of selling your catch to the middleman, you could sell directly to the processor, eventually opening up your own cannery. You could control the product, process, and distribution. Then he added, of course, you would need to leave this small coastal village and move to Mexico City, where you would run your growing enterprise. The Mexican fisherman then asked, but senor, how long will this all take? To which the American replied, about 15 to 20 years. But then what? Asked the Mexican. The American laughed and said, well, that's the best part. When the time is right, you can announce an IPO and sell your company to the public and become very rich. You could make millions. Millions, senor, then what? To which the investment banker replied, then you would retire. You could move to a small coastal village where you would sleep late, fish a little, play with your kids, take a siesta with your wife, Stroll into the village in the evenings where you would sip wine and play guitar with your amigos. I just love this story as it's a pure depiction of the old saying, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey along the way. Do what you love doing. Do what you want to do on your journey and find a way to get paid for doing what you love. It's no use saying, one day I'll be able to do X if I just keep doing Y, but you absolutely hate doing Y. That's not a fulfilling and enjoyable life. And this is why it's so essential to understand your goals and your why before you even set out on your investing journey. If you want financial independence because you really don't like your current job, in my opinion, you're setting yourself the wrong goal. Why would you want to work for the next 40 years, live as frugally as you possibly can, which means you're not enjoying your life as much, but to save as much money as possible to buy investments that will support you in your retirement, where you're now 60 years old and the best years of your life have been traded for a salary? I'm not saying that you shouldn't invest, I'm just saying that you should enjoy what you do in your life, while spending less than you earn and investing the difference. It's not about how much you make. Some people earning $500K a year don't even know where their money goes because of that excessive lifestyle creep. It's all about what you do with what you earn. All we have ever been brought up to embrace is trading our time for money, then trading our money for consumables and experiences, and repeating the process with highs and lows throughout the journey. And yes, I fully understand that this is how the economy keeps spinning, but have you ever heard the term that the rich get richer? And it's entirely true because they understand how to create wealth. They understand where to draw the line in the sand for over-consuming and realize where their time is better spent. So instead of trading your time for money, trade your time for what you want to do and find a way to earn money from that. And investing can be a side tool to help you along the journey, rather than the only path that you can go down. If you want a brand new car every single year, the latest gadgets and extravagant holidays, then by all means get out there and work as hard as you possibly can for them. That is your why. That is what you enjoy, so go and get it. Just do it for you and your family. Don't do it for the social status because that disappears overnight once you stop posting those lavish photos. If you want to travel the world and explore everything the world has to offer, then find a way to do that and get paid for it. Thousands of people have done it before you. It's not impossible. You just might not be earning a six-figure income while you're abroad. Another common one I hear from talking to a lot of other investors on my podcast, The Smash Avo Property, is that they want to leave a legacy behind for their kids, which is so important, and you're giving them the best financial future you possibly can for them. But is that what they really want? Is your work life taking up that much time that you don't actually spend time with your kids now? So maybe instead of being gifted $1 million when you pass, they would much rather cherish the fond memories they had with you in that time instead of being given the money. So maybe ask them, what would they prefer? And if they said the money, I'd probably give it all away to charity myself anyway. We only have one life, and it goes far too quickly to be stressed out in a job that we don't enjoy because we feel trapped. You really don't need $10 million in property to be claimed a successful property investor. No one really cares after more than 2 minutes that you're financially successful. So don't worry about them and just do it for yourself. My biggest gripe with the whole property investor status is we compare each other by how many properties we own, demonstrated in this graph here. But I could go out tomorrow, buy 6 $50,000 properties and be in that top 2%. But I would now own 6 terrible assets that would hinder my financial future. So don't compare yourself to others, only compare yourself to how close you are to your goals. If you haven't noticed, I haven't asked for a like or a subscribe throughout this whole video because I really want you to embrace your why. What is your end goal? What do you really want for the rest of your life? And how much is really enough? But if you did enjoy this content and it did challenge you in some way, then make sure you smash that like button. What is your why? What are your goals? Leave it down in the comment section below. As always, seek your own professional financial, legal, taxation, and property investing advice for your current situation. These videos are just my opinion and are general in nature and should never be considered as personal advice. If you're keen for more content, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And until next time, happy house hunting.